Hey everyone, Felix from Nintendo Life here, and today we are finally here to review Outer Wilds for the Nintendo Switch. This review was written by the adventurous Roland Ingram and converted into video by me. What's the meaning of life? Are we truly alone in the universe? It's questions like this that has driven humankind to explore the planet, the cosmos, and ourselves. This irresistible drive of curiosity and the addictive high of discovery are what Outer Wilds captures so well, letting this indie game put big-name space exploration titles to shame. Mobius Digital's mesmerizing adventure that is Outer Wilds first landed on PC and Xbox in 2019 to serious critical acclaim, and it's been a long wait for Switch gamers hoping for a port. But it's mostly good news. The indie masterpiece has kept its magic in the jump to Nintendo's portable, albeit a bit of a technical struggle. The Echoes of I DLC has also found its way over as part of the Archaeologist Edition, although we only received code for the base game for this review. Taking place in a miniature solar system trapped in a time loop, the game sets out to deliver a captivating narrative alongside its awe-inspiring celestial views. Starting on a small forested planet with a quaint village community, you play as a new astronaut embarking on your first spaceflight again and again. Armed with spaceship and jetpack, you delve into the secrets of the universe, uncovering a profound story that will challenge your emotions as much as your intellect. As a story-driven first-person game, there are elements of a walking sim about Outer Wilds. However, there are many moments of serious jeopardy and a variety of ways to die, always restarting the time loop. And on top of that, walking greatly undersells the fun of your character's movement. Both the ship and jetpack are maneuvered with the left stick, turning with the right, and using ZL and ZR buttons to move vertically. Throw in L to change your rotation and you have a bit of a handful, but it all adds up to a fluency of floaty movement that makes docking with mysterious spacecraft and racing over cracky landscapes a thrill. This movement is the foundation of some exquisitely distilled exploration and mystery gameplay. Beginning on that tree planet, the game gives away nothing. First you have to find out whatever it is you have to find out. In exploring your surroundings in the night sky, you can launch seamlessly from ground to the stars and back down into another world. Despite a sometimes overwhelming sense of scale, delivered with an economical art direction, a rich soundscape, and an overall light-hearted air, all the planets can be zipped around in a minute or two, like a pocket-sized No Man's Sky playset. The space physics are fun and convincing, allowing you to rocket around with just enough control to let you know what you're doing, but also just enough chaos to make it a madcap ride. And it's got to be the best realization of different strengths of gravity that we've experienced in the game, with large planets having your ship down to them from space and limiting your jumps once you're there. If you like discovering secrets in a game, you'll be pleased to know that Outer Wilds is basically 100% secrets. Compared to other time loop stories, this one is all about gaining knowledge. You do use your loop to hone your skills like Tom Cruise in Edge of Tomorrow, but these are not represented in an in-game skill tree. You just get better as a player. You also learn new skills, but again, these are yours to keep in your head and could have been applied from the start of the game if only you'd know them. There are even elements of learning the relationship and movements of people a la Majora's Mask, knowing where to go when and who cares about who. However, Outer Wilds brings its own emphasis on exploration and learning the layout and workings of the planet. A location might take several loops of experimentation to figure out how to get to, but eventually you can make a beeline and reach there within a couple of minutes of waking up, all based on nothing but knowledge with no unlockables or gating. This all-out dependence on learning does mean that the game can be rather inscrutable. Certainly starting out can be a drag, and some more hand-holding might have gone a long way, but once you're in, you're in. And the purity of the find out for yourself approach is what makes the game the marvel that it is. Meanwhile, a side effect of the wide open world design is that you can arrive at clues to the story at just about any moment. This means that we came across some stuff that we just had no idea what they meant until we learned some context for them, at which point we'd forgotten what they said and where we read them. A ship's log that survives the time loop does help in this regard, however, and it's another small price to pay for the fundamental approach of true openness. And so we've come to the burning question for the Switch release: performance. The most important thing to say here is that we loved playing the game. However, if you're looking for a silky smooth play experience, sadly you won't find it on Switch. Gameplay regularly falls under 30 frames per second, with inconsistencies and dropped frames aplenty. And we also experienced some audio stuttering and one crash. Fortunately, the drifty nature of the physics and controls and the not too severe consequences of smashing into rocks somehow let the game get away with its low responsiveness for the most part. Similarly, while there are some jagged lines and smudged textures, especially playing handheld, the art direction is quite accommodating of the graphical downgrades. If you have access to the game on another platform, or if the inconsistent frame rates is a deal breaker, you will want to knock off a point off the final score. The bottom line is that despite some jaw-dropping action moments, the drive force behind Outer Wilds is the gradual reveal of its story, something that stutters and muddy textures can't spoil. So in conclusion, if you can overlook the technical challenges, and we could, Outer Wilds remains a wondrous experience on Switch. With almost no gating and a free reign to investigate a rich corner of the universe, it captures the quest of learning in the most direct way possible. The only reward for progress is knowledge. Starting with no information at all, you come to understand the intricacies of this little solar system better than its inhabitants. Having soared through such an epic, introspective and existentially inquisitive adventure, we probably came to understand ourselves a little more too. So we here at Nintendo Life give Outer Wilds on the Nintendo Switch a 9 out of 10. And now with the review done, it's time for Felix's personal thoughts. Now, I'm gonna be honest, I had a hard time getting into this game initially. Now hear me out. So I started this game over on Xbox Game Pass, I think around 1 or 2 years ago, and I didn't get very far because I just felt lost, really struggling with the controls, and I just didn't give it enough time to shine. But here with the Switch port, I thought, hey, let's give it another chance. Clearly there's something I'm not seeing because everyone is just going on and on about how great it is. And it turns out I was missing something: the ship's log. I for some reason just completely missed that there was a log in the spaceship, and that also shows how in depth I went with my first playthrough. Yeah, it wasn't much, but finding out the ship's log really just made my experience with this game so much better. Now I finally knew where I could go. You know, it doesn't tell you exactly, oh, this is what's gonna happen here. No, it tells you, oh, you could go here, and then if you go there, you get more stuff into your log, and then, you know, it just keeps building up and up until you have this giant board of all these places you could go and explore. And Jim from our editorial team put this brilliantly, but it's like a Metroidvania that rewards you not with like new gadgets and new double jump, but instead with knowledge, like said in the review. And yeah, I think it's brilliantly put, because there are some places where, oh, how do I get in here? And later you figure out, oh, I could have gone here all along if only I'd known this secret. The way that the platforming and the secrets are scattered is absolutely perfect, and the soundtrack, it has to be one of my favorites of this year. Now, I am still a bit lost on what to do, but that's because I'm still exploring these planets. I'm figuring out bits and bobs and trying to piece them together. I don't think I've hit that big wow moment yet. And that also makes perfect sense, because I'm only around 5 hours in. I have no idea how far 5 hours in is, because yeah, I haven't checked how long this game is, and also being very exploration heavy, you know, I could have been spending hours doing stuff that's irrelevant to the story. But that's not to say I'm not enjoying this game, because in fact I'm having a fantastic time. But I do have an inkling that this is the kind of game that you pour a lot of time into, and then in the end it culminates into something truly magical that made all those hours that you spent not knowing what to do worth it. Anyway, if you like this review, why don't you fly towards that subscribe button even though you're having a hard time with the controls, and don't forget to check out our website nintendolife.com for all sorts of Nintendo related content. Stay safe, play some Outer Wilds now that it's finally on the Switch, and we'll see you in the next one. Felix from Nintendo Life, out.